Hello, Ragers. This is the Paige Rage, off location forever. I have Robbie aside with me today. No Danny today. Danny decided that work was more important than calling into a podcast that's on Facebook Live right now because we're still kind of homeless right now. But we're here today. We got 2 hours of goodness, got lots of sports to talk about. We got a lot of things to talk about. I grew some hair since we were last gone. Luckily you see me with these hair right here and you're just like, wow, how did Hunter grow all of that? Well, take a lot of patience. 2 weeks of patience, my friends. I don't know, I think it looks good.
It's the nice flowing locks, it's just the way to go.
Psych! Didn't do that. You thought I had long hair, didn't you? Alright, well.
Alright, that was corny joke aside.
Ha 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 ha!
We're back.
Yeah, I had to make a corny joke. But anyway, we're back here. In our new A-plus studio, which I would have to say, aside from the couch, I do like this setup a little bit more.
We did a pretty good job.
Yeah. This is our luxury suite in the sky, overlooking Amherst in the back. You may remember when we had the Rage in Cleveland, we had the Cleveland skyline in the back. We have apartments in the back this time, so I don't think the view is going to be as nice. So anyway,
that was definitely. I don't think the view will ever get that nice.
That view was terrific.
We got picked up by some major network for whatever dumb reason.
Fox Sports 1. So
let's create our pitch right now.
Well, let me explain to you why. Because nobody knows the Buffalo market better than me and Robbie at the moment. Because not only do we know the Bills and Sabres, but we also know UB Athletics. We've mentioned Canisius basketball on every single show. Thank you, Marshall. Niagara hockey. We can go as far as RIT hockey. We know the Western New York area pretty well. Fox Sports 1. You want the Rage. But we're pretty raunchy over here, too.
We can go national, too. We don't have to just stick with Buffalo.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm just saying, the Fed has been with all those Bills fans.
There's not much to talk about Buffalo this show anyway, right?
Yeah, that's true. We got a lot of other things.
We got to go national to begin with.
Yeah. And so that's going to be one of the changes here on the Rage. I do want to take a couple seconds to tell you what's going to be different, first of all. Robbie, you ready?
I'm ready.
We have a fridge right here. And with said fridge, we open the fridge up. And look at that. We can drink on air. Look at that. No, come on. We're not savages here. So
we're not savages here.
That's
a drink of beer.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, we can do that on air, which that's pretty cool. We don't have SBI regulations anymore, so Wild West is ours at this point.
We can say whatever is on our minds.
Whatever is on our mind. So why don't I just take out this iPad full of grievances I had with WRUB for the last 3 years. No, we'll save that for
Do you not have that all just up in your head already? Like, you need a list?
You know what? The list is a little bit better on here. We promised Danny we'd talk about sports today.
Sorry, Danny, we're already failing you.
Danny, this is why you need to come back. We're not going to have a show if you keep doing this all the time. But anyway, why don't we talk about sports first?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's really like the ice cream after dinner.
I guess we can talk about sports. This is a sports show.
It is. By the way, the shirt right here, which is sports related, so we're on topic. I've been meaning to wear this on the Rage when we actually had the Rage on WRUB, but because of that, we don't. But there's no licking in hockey, and I think Brad Marchand should know about that.
No licking in hockey.
There's no rule. There should be a rule. How there's no rule, I don't know. But you shouldn't do that. It's just not okay. But anyway, we have plenty of stuff to talk about today. First on our docket, though, let's get into the NFL. We have some big news coming out of New England. Julian Edelman, 4 games for performance-enhancing drugs. Robbie, what's your initial thoughts?
He wasn't even playing good enough to warrant the use of the PEDs, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was, he's a good wide receiver,
right.
But I didn't think he was playing well enough to warrant the use of PEDs. I didn't think it was giving him that much of an advantage. Because it wasn't like he was the best wide receiver in the league.
Right.
So, it just blew my mind that he was doing PEDs. Because, when I think of somebody using PEDs, I think A-Rod and the tear that he went on when he was doing them.
Well, it's not even that, too. He doesn't look that jacked. And
yeah,
if you look at Julian Edelman compared to the other... I mean, is this more of this is how he has to keep up with everybody? Or because this doesn't even sound like he's really trying to, get an edge here.
Now, like, when I think of somebody who's using PEDs, and I'm not saying they are, but like I think of somebody who's just built like an absolute tank. So
like Barry Bonds.
yeah,
Alex Rodriguez.
or like even just in the NFL now, like a guy like Derrick Henry as a running back,
Right.
he's just built like a tank. But I was shocked to see that it was Julian Edelman of all people to get struck with performance enhancing drugs. So who knows what? I don't think they released which drugs they were.
Yeah, and I think that's something that goes through after a little bit. Once,
so we'll see.
Plus, it's coming out of Foxborough, New England, or Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Foxborough, New England. Danny, yeah, I mean, it's coming out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. You really don't know too much of what happens.
It's really tight-lipped there.
It is extremely tight-lipped.
That's signs of a good organization.
But that being
not
said,
having PR meltdowns.
but that being said, smooth transition alert. It's so knit. It's so compact in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's going on with that Tom Brady 12 thing that's going on across the street? I mean, he's a big thing about that. He thought it was a huge, it's a huge thing that's been helping out in his career. What's going on with that? I mean, I'm starting to ask questions here. I mean, I'm not going conspiracy theory because I'm not going to sit here and say, like, Julian Edelman's been doing this because all the other Patriots are doing it.
You want to go down the conspiracy route, huh?
Not yet. Although, who knows what we have to do for views these days.
Michael Jordan left because he was gambling, not because he wanted to play baseball.
I mean, how many players in baseball have gambled? I mean, Pete Rose, 1918 Black Sox. I don't know. Do the math. I mean, there's a lot of baseball gambling going on. That it seems like just baseball with gambling.
I think college basketball on the down low has it pretty bad, too. The whole gambling thing. I think it does.
Tell me more. I'm intrigued.
There's just so many teams, and there's like the NCAA has already shown they're incompetent at making sure that everybody's following the rules.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many teams. There's so many loopholes you could probably do as a coach or as a player to make money off of games, or even just as referees to bet on games, even though you're not supposed to.
Right.
When there's 351 Division I teams, and like almost every game has a line on some sports books. That's a lot. That's a lot for the NCAA to make sure nobody's like doing something fishy with.
The way we're thinking about this, I feel like the area where this would be the worst, low-level Division I. Because here's the thing: is that Power 5, I feel like those places are like Fort Knox. I mean, I've been to the Carrier Dome with media credentials, and I mean, you have to go through like 3 layers of security just to get onto the floor. But with these smaller teams, I mean, and with my experience as a former sports director, trying to get credentials for some of these smaller schools like Niagara, for example, just email the day before saying that you bring 2 people. That's it. I mean, it's really not that hard to get somebody over there. And then, once you got your ticket into the building, I mean, all you got to do is find the right player who's desperate enough, and maybe it's a walk-on player who started. I mean, there's ways you could give them money. And there's enough desperate students that will take that money.
I definitely could see it happening more in lower Division I, especially like when you look at these sports books for lower Division I games, the lines are just stupid. It's because they don't know as much as the
you're not getting the
games.
top bookies on this. The top money is in the top.
They'll say something like, UB's 3-point favorite in this game during the time where UB is crushing teams by 15 points each, every week. This was like early max slate this past season. And the books were still coming out saying like they're 3 6-point favorites, not like anything bigger than that. So like even just that you can manipulate. And then there you go. And this isn't even just like from this point of view, it's not just, I can pay a player to throw a game or something. This is, I'm a coach or I'm a player for this team, and I know like I can bet on this, and get a safe return because the line is just stupid. So and you can't do that in the NCAA under the rules and stuff. So like, I definitely believe it's happening in at least college basketball as well as baseball.
Well, and I think it's going to start expanding with the new regulations that in the federal level where gambling is going to be legal throughout the United States.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be legal. It's just up to the states at this point. And I could see some of these bigger states going right through.
I think a lot of the
Delaware's already in there, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to pass it next week. New Jersey is, I think they're almost there, so they're probably going to be there. And I mean, you have a good school, Rutgers, right there, so that's a red flag in itself. Plus, you have New York City right by. I mean, that's gonna be interesting. I'm waiting to see what some of these bigger states do. The ones that I come to my mind: New York, California, Texas. 3 states that have a lot of colleges, and we all get caught up in the big ones. Like with California, it's UCLA, USC.
Yeah.
They also have a bunch of small D1 schools in California. They also have a bunch of small D1 schools in upstate New York. I mean, throw your hat, you'll probably find one. You look at Texas. I mean, with football, even there's so many top tier football schools that are say group of 5 schools down there that you can easily you just get the right person in there. You can manipulate whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just unless we won't know until an administrating body comes in and says, "Hey, you're there's an actual scandal here."
Right.
But if there was another sport that I could pick that has gambling interwoven into it, even though it shouldn't be, it's college basketball. I think it's just too big. I think it's just too big because it's...
Well, what about college football, too? I mean, college football
I think college football...
But here's the other thing, too. How many walk-ons are on those teams? I mean,
True.
why don't we... I'll let you go first because I'm going...
Go ahead.
No, because I'm digging deeper into something.
Okay.
So let's give the viewers something to watch here. Or, you know what I'm saying? So go with you.
But yeah, like I was saying, it was just college basketball is just too big of an entity to completely manage and make sure everything's going right. Mm-hmm. Especially what we've seen from the NCAA these past couple of years. It's just the pay-to-play scandal.
Right.
With DeAndre Ayton and all these other college basketball stars that got paid to go to school. And there's definitely still more that it hasn't come out and it was covered up well. Mm-hmm. We see it in college football too. So I really think the college sports, the 2 revenue generators, it's definitely a thing.
Well, and I'm going back to my point with the walk-ons is that with football, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're not getting scholarships. They're paying the same tuition that a lot of students do at some of these schools, and it's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so it could be very tempting for a student that's, let's say you're a walk-on special teamer. You I don't know, throw a tackle, miss a block or something, influence the game where, because they bet on crazy things with football sometimes. You never know. And with the point spreads the way they are, I mean, a special teams blunder, moving the ball from the 30 to 50, I mean, that does a lot. Yeah. I mean, 1 first down and a little more, you get a field goal out of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. These things it's a little terrifying especially how close to home this is, saying how UB, I think, with some of the things, how small with the football area and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. UB football is in a massive D1 powerhouse.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's enough people watching the games where something like that could happen with Vegas.
Exactly. I think the college football and basketball are too big to just rule it out and say there's no way that this is happening. It probably is. I don't know how large of a scale or how small of a scale. Maybe it's not happening.
Maybe it's going to get bigger, though.
I mean, the NCAA's done a trash job with its oversight. And to say that they know absolutely 100% everything going on is a complete lie. So you can't say that.
And I mean, how these administrations, they miss a lot of big things too. And I mean, a lot of big things.
It may not even be known by the administration that, hey, maybe this player is getting some money on the table to throw the game or something, or to make sure that it's within the spread, or just they're betting on it themselves, so they're altering the game to their favor. You don't know.
Well, the other thing too is that you can't just go up to a student athlete and accuse them of it. I mean, what are you going to do? Go up to...
And the thing is, he could have a family member or a friend do it for him, too.
Right.
That's the thing. Handle all of the money and the transactions with the sports books and stuff so that it's clean. It's a lot harder to track in that way. So...
But I mean, again, it's hard to even accuse one of these students of doing it, because it's if you're a coach and you do that, and you accuse the wrong person, forget it. I mean, depending on where you are, you might be out the door. Mm-hmm. If you're an administrator, congratulations. Now every time you walk into a building, everyone's going to start thinking that you're going to start accusing them of things.
Yeah, exactly.
And, there's not a lot of evidence in what you brought up, too. The trail isn't that easy to find sometimes. It's, some of the ways these things go. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with college sports next year, because I think this is going to be a lot bigger of a deal than we know. I mean, we see in Europe with some of these soccer matches that are just... You can't believe how fixed they are, and yet you watch it and it's like watching a script.
It's hard to rule out that it's not a thing whatsoever.
Right.
I just.
Well, I mean, it is a thing over there. I mean, how many times have you seen a Southeastern Asian country get busted for this?
Soccer's a little corrupt too, thanks to FIFA and everything. So like, it's just got that culture behind it. As how with how big or small you think it is, we'll never know until like an administrating body, whether it's a government or if it's the league that comes out and says, "Oh, we found something," and let the scandal unleash, and then let ESPN run the headlines for 2 weeks straight until LeBron does something.
Right.
But
we're not there yet.
Hey, we're close, but yeah, that's like you. I think it's going to be interesting to see now that gambling is going to be legalized throughout these different states for sports books and stuff. How many more scandals are we going to get when it comes to gambling?
Well, and here's one other thing too. I was thinking.
I don't have anything wrong with the sports gambling whatsoever.
Oh no, I don't care what other people do with their money. It's your
if
your
it
life.
affects the game, that's where the problem comes.
Right.
But like we'll see what happens. We'll see if that actually we'll see if scandals actually come out and stuff regarding gambling.
Well, I mean, I've seen it go right. I've seen it go wrong. I mean, in the Premier League in England, you can go into the stadium and you can bet on things like. Mm-hmm. The same way that you go up to get a beer. I mean, it's that.
Well, yeah, it's like horse racing. You go in and you can bet on stuff right there and then there. That's the point of horse racing sometimes. Right. Like for most people, they go in there trying to make money off of it.
Which I mean, it benefits everybody. I mean, it's going to get more people into the stadiums. It's going to get more people to be watching. Yeah. It's just drawing more interest.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
The Kentucky Derby gets so much interest for a bunch of horses running around for 2 minutes.
Yeah. And it's this huge glorified event. It's
the pageantry, the large hats, what are those drinks called? The mint juleps. But again, it's just a bunch of horses running around the track one time.
It's crazy because usually when you think when people get packed into stadiums and stuff, it's for a 2-hour game or something. These people are coming here to watch horses for 2 minutes. That's their main event.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they have other side races and all that, but nobody cares.
That's not the main attraction, though.
No, nobody's going for that.
When I'm talking about the main attraction, when you go to a basketball game, you're there for 2 hours.
Well,
you go to a football game, you're there for 3 hours.
Well, I can tell you with the Kentucky Derby, I did hear comparisons that the tailgating there is almost like tailgating at an NFL game.
I bet.
It's not like, Bill's Mafia crazy.
You're in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, so
you got to make do with what you got. But another thing I was going to bring up, too, before we got derailed onto that, is that a lot of the southeastern states, gambling just isn't a thing down there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to bring that point up. I don't think a lot of the Bible Belt states are going to care too much about... And I mean, that's the SEC, that's the ACC. So if you're one of the fans of those teams, I think you're totally fine. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about this.
Yeah.
This is going to be primarily in more of the blue states.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a Northeast, West Coast thing.
Yeah, so, I think that's where well, I mean, when we see all these scandals, I mean, most of them are Northeast, West Coast. Although maybe the South, the South has a separate issue. I'm not going to sit there and call them saints by any means, but,
I'm looking at you, Alabama football, and your players having $100,000 cars.
Oh, did you see Saban and the players on a boat the other day?
Yeah, there's no, those...
Okay, one, how is there not an NCAA violation of a bunch of football players and his coach on a boat? 2, Nick Saban, I thought you were Mr. Disciplinarian guy. Why are you...
You have to think there is a violation. They have so many violations for every little thing. How is that not a violation at that point? Of some kind.
Well, I could go down the list if you want. I mean, whose boat is it? If it's not a football boat, that's a violation because that's an alumni giving special privileges to a student athlete.
Yeah, because in that case, the players have to pay for the boat if they're going to be allowed to use it.
That's right. I think one of them was wearing a life jacket. If that's not his life jacket, that was a gift to somebody else.
And it's an impermissible benefit.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the stupid things like this the NCAA can't track.
Right.
They can't track something as small as a little life.
Here's the other thing, though. This stuff is easy for them to track, so they track it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, again, how many stupid things have we heard about NCAA violations for?
Are you going to get really mad if a donor gives a kid, a life jacket? No.
To borrow a life jacket.
How is that an impermissible benefit as a student athlete.
Well, I think the boat is the most.
The boat's the big thing, of course, but like,
right.
like
if
the
we
NCAA,
put that aside,
it's all about the stupid little things. Like if an academic advisor gives an athlete a ride somewhere or something, then that's an impermissible benefit. You can't do that. Like that's stupid. That's just like That's just getting a ride somewhere. That's not like I'm paying this player this much money.
I was just thinking of this too. They're on a boat. They're probably going to be out there for more than a couple hours. There's probably food on the boat.
They gotta pay
Who paid for the
food? Coach can't pay for the food.
Coach can't pay for the food. Players got to pay for the food.
No,
one guy definitely can't pay for the food.
Really dumb, small things about the NCAA oversight in that regard. So,
again, the NCAA needs to get their priorities straight. I think that this is one of the most stupidest things out of all of them. I mean, I'm just going to throw this one out there too. I mean, what was the whole thing where like the school can give the player a bagel, but they can't give them the cream cheese for the bagel? Where do we draw the line on some of this stuff? Like, I can understand.
I don't remember all of the details of that one, but that one was pretty stupid. No,
that one, I know for a fact that's one.
Yeah, I forgot what the details.
There's a peanut butter and jelly one too.
What was their reasoning why? But that was a pretty stupid one. I do remember.
See, and I understand the merit of these rules, which is that you don't want to sit there and wine and dine your players on a 24/7 basis using state money to do that. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's how the whole FBI thing happened.
Right.
They were using state money to pay players.
Right.
That's a federal offense. That's not just an NCAA thing. So that makes sense.
Right.
I get that.
Well, here's the other thing too: is that who paid for the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to ask that question. If it's a university boat and there's no sanction because it's an alumni boat, okay, well then who paid for the boat after that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with that whole thing. And
that's interesting.
But the most important thing is that everybody got off the boat okay.
I guess.
Let's not let that one go under. I mean, listen, we see these horrible things happen with boats and, transportation and all that. You laugh at how stupid it is, but at the end of the day, that could have been a serious situation.
Yeah.
So, at least everybody got off okay, and, life resumes in Alabama. But, again, what I'm more surprised about is where's the water that said boat was in?
It's got to be like some lake or something.
There's got to be like a swamp or
a lake or
a
swamp or something.
The
closest water is the Gulf. That's.
And I'm gonna sound so horrible. That was my first thought when I saw that. I was like, where are they driving this boat? Like, what is there like a random?
Even worse, they went on an impermissible trip, where as a team where they got paid to go to a different state and ride the boat around.
Oh, that would be.
Oh my god!
Could you
That'd
imagine
be the dumbest reason to get fired as a football coach is.
Could you imagine though if Nick Saban got fired for something like that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Nick Saban of all people to get fired for stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think he's untouchable. I don't think it's a big deal at all. So
Alabama, they definitely pay their players.
Right.
Same with all the bigger schools, especially the bigger SEC schools. They just do a really good job at covering it up. That's why you'll see one of these Alabama football players with a car they can't afford, but it's completely paid for in cash by some random dude, but it was the money came out of nowhere. It didn't it's completely the tracks are covered up.
Right.
So, yeah.
Paper cash is a dangerous thing in college sports. It really is. So, why don't we make our smooth transition into our next topic for today? By the way, I did think of something fun we could do later.
Okay.
We got World Cup coming up between now and our next show, so I think we might have to make some.
Go USA!
I love you, baby.
World Cup without America. Good job, guys.
You know what? I think we're already here. You already got me hot here. Listen, all right. I'm not Joe. I'm not Mr. Soccer Guy. I'm not Soccer Sam. This isn't. I don't live soccer. In fact, I usually live as far away from soccer as I can. I don't. Soccer. I don't know. It's just watching it. Some people like it. Other people, it's like watching snails move. To me, it's more on the snail side. Yeah. Games can be exciting every once in a while. I can give you that. I mean, the women's games are pretty exciting. But in terms of, the World Cup, I mean, when they're not in it...
How do you have a country full, 300 million people miss the World Cup?
Ethnically diverse country. It's not even.
Yeah,
this is like wait.
And
I
soccer's on the up and come here too. Like it's not bad soccer that's being
can
played
understand
in the MLS
a country like let's say Russia, for example.
Yeah,
that's a hockey country. Mm-hmm. That's all hockey over there. That's their biggest sport. You're not touching that. With England, it's a soccer country. Rugby a little bit, mostly soccer.
Yeah.
Every little boy grows up with a soccer ball on his feet and rooting for one of those BPL teams or something like that. I mean, go down to like Latin America, like not South America, but Latin America, it's baseball. I mean, it's baseball everywhere. It's throwing up baseball like, it's all over the place. With the United States, I mean, we have so many people, and yet we don't have a sport that we are primarily good at because we're good at all of the sports. Yeah. Because this is what we do in America.
The Olympics every year with the bigger countries like China and Russia.
Yes.
Right? That's.
I mean, Russia with the snow sports more. The summer sports,
Russia's still good in the summer sports.
They're good. They're not, they're flip a coin for top 10 every year.
Yeah.
But
like when you have a country as big and as diverse as the U.S., like what are you doing?
I mean,
you have the best athletes.
You have a large Mexican population in the South, and I'm sure all of them love soccer. In fact, if you've ever seen a Mexico versus United States game down in like Los Angeles or Houston or something like that, I mean, it's a Mexico crowd.
Yeah.
But yet, they all have American passports. They all have American driver's license. They were born in America. They were raised in America. They would be playing for America. Like, why? Like, the United States with soccer are so disconnected from everything else. There's so much wrong. And again, I don't watch that much soccer. So the fact that I know this is a little concerning. Just, if you're just the outside person that knows nothing about that. It's just ridiculous.
It's sad because, like, soccer's been growing heavily the past...
Well, soccer's been growing since 1960.
Growing. It's like, expansion teams are happening now. Again. Like, the MLS is not the same, as your Premier League soccer, but, like, it's getting good enough to be, like, really good soccer. And now we got expansion teams like Minnesota, and we're pulling in Cincinnati here soon. And it's really unfortunate that the United States couldn't keep capitalizing on this growth by being in the World Cup this time around. Like that hurts.
Can I make a hot take?
Go ahead.
You brought it up. I know. I'm just.
Go ahead.
I wasn't asking really. I was kind of like.
Well,
I was kind of like stopping. I'm like.
Can I make a hot take?
I'm gonna. I just wanted to stop him right there. That whole Cincinnati thing, I don't think it's gonna work out.
Oh, it totally will.
Oh,
Do you not see the Cincinnati crowds
for the U.S. Open games?
FC Cincinnati packs their stadium every game.
I don't know, Robbie. They had a U.S. Open game 2 days ago, and that stadium was half empty. I mean, listen.
2 days ago. Okay, that's middle of the week.
All those games that they've been filling up the joint were in the middle of the week.
I think FC Cincinnati is going to work out. I highly disagree with you on that one.
You know what? Listen, because here is where I'm drawing this right now. Yeah. Is the fact that this is a USL team that's going to be moving up into the MLS.
Oh, there's
going to be a competition imbalance.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I understand.
I
can understand why everybody gets... I was just going to get there. Can you please let me get there? I'm just going to say that, listen, I understand that my hot takes when coming to expansion teams haven't been the greatest lately. Exhibit A from last night. But at the end of the day, I don't think that FC Cincinnati can immediately make an impact in the MLS.
Oh, they won't.
No. That's the problem that I have with this, because is that, it's all fun and games when, your A team is kicking the crap out of the B teams of the MLS.
Yeah.
It's fun. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes you get a Chicago team that's coming in and they're going to throw all the starters in and try to, you somehow squeak through that. But I look at FC Cincinnati and I'm just saying, okay, is this a team that I think that can go from March to October and keep a sustainable attendance there? And I don't think so. And my reason is this, is that the end of the year, as soon as FC Cincinnati's out, it's Bengal season.
That's true. You have to compete with the Bengals
you're going to be, and this is going to be a thing every single year. This isn't New York City where you're going to have specific soccer fans and specific football fans. You have Cincinnati fans. This is like Buffalo. Everybody likes the same teams.
Yeah.
They like the Reds, they like the Bengals, they like the Cincinnati basketball team, and they like FC Cincinnati. Yep. And you're going to be competing against the Bengals in late fall.
I completely agree with you on that. That's going to be something that's going to be a challenge.
And again, I can see that hurting because, again, Cincinnati's a football city. Yeah. I firmly believe that.
And, I mean, like, there are other teams, like, doing it. Does anybody care about them?
Well, I mean, the basketball team, they get a little bit. They're not even playing in Cincinnati right now. They're playing in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because of their whole stadium. I don't want to get into
this. But, like, that's college sports. That's completely different than pro sports. Like, I think the college sports and the pro sports crowd are two different crowds, for the most part. There's people that interlap, but, like, there's a diehard college fan base, and there's a diehard pro sports fan base.
Well, I mean, we see it here. We see it here in Buffalo. I mean, the North Towns. I mean, you know, it's hit or miss. You get some Bills fans. Everybody in the North Towns is primarily a Sabres fan. I've noticed.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when it comes to football, they're the casual football fan. They're the casual. I'll go to a UB game. I'll take the family out.
When I was saying what other teams does the rest of the city of Cincinnati care about? I'm talking about pro teams.
Right.
What else do they care about besides the Bengals?
Which
that might help FC Cincinnati in a little bit.
They get you to the summer.
Yeah,
but because the Reds are getting people in there. That's for sure.
The Reds. When was the last time they actually did something?
What was it, like 2012?
It's been a while, and they didn't even do much then.
I mean, they had Joey Votto do something.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way Joey Votto makes noise now is if he's harassing Canada.
Yeah.
But anyway, where are we going? World Cup, United States. That's right.
World Cup.
United States should be ashamed of themselves.
They really should.
This is a joke. The fact that they're in a conference that is, I think, and again, this is to what I know about the way this World Cup qualifying goes. I mean, the countries that are in here: United States, Mexico, big powerhouse. Then after that, I mean, what do we got? Trinidad and Tobago.
That's
viewers. Tell me where Trinidad and Tobago is. I don't think you do.
On next edition of Rage, we pull out a map and
name this World Cup country.
We figure out where Trinidad and Tobago is.
Well, I know where Trinidad and Tobago is, but it's
well, honestly, I don't. It's somewhere in the Caribbean. That's all I know.
But you want to know what's wrong about Trinidad and Tobago? They beat the United States.
Yeah, I know. It's insane.
People, it's this little island that is off the coast of Venezuela. It's actually two islands. They're all one country, two islands. Little country.
It's off the coast of Venezuela?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's farther away than I thought it was.
Yeah, that's pretty far. They're almost like...
I'm pretty good at geography, but I'm not... Okay.
Well, allow me to use my UB history degree here. In a historical standpoint, really not much happened. They just screwed stuff there. But that was a severe overgeneralization on that. But anyway, back to the United States. You're losing to countries like Trinidad and Tobago. Costa Rica. Panama. Panama made the World Cup. Panama.
It's just like, it's not that they have bad teams.
Hold on.
Like
I need this for
better.
Panama.
It's not that they have bad teams, but they shouldn't have better teams than a country as diverse as the United States and with 330 million people. Like, that's insane.
And then, again, we're talking about a country that's hovering around 100,000 people.
Oh, my God.
This is where United States soccer is. You're losing to teams that are small islands.
Yeah. Honestly, like, with the World Cup coming up, like, I'm surprised that that's not a bigger headline that the U.S. isn't in it.
I just don't think anyone wants... You know what I think? I don't think anyone wants to talk about it. None of the media
wants to bring it up.
Someone's going to bring it up, though, next week. Someone's going to have to.
Like, it was a big deal, like, when it happened and, like, they officially got eliminated from it. But, like, we haven't heard anything about it since.
I can give you two reasons right now. Reason number one, when does the United States team get criticized other than when they pull shit like what they did last, 7 months ago? I mean, let's be real. These people get paraded around like there's some celebrity or something. Like, how many times do we see Tim Howard in Times Square and he's shaking hands, kissing babies before he goes head over to Brazil?
Yeah.
I mean, we see this crap all the time with the U.S. team. They're treated like they're gods. You are not gods.
They're treated like gods, and then they get destroyed or something by some country.
You want to be treated like a god? Why don't you go win a World Cup? You have the resources to do it. You just don't know how to do it. None of you do.
This is the best soccer that the U.S. has played in forever, either, too. Like, and just not the team.
They have a legitimate superstar.
There's a legit, U.S. soccer is actually legitimate now. It's not to the level of, the Euro countries, but
Well, I mean, obviously,
it's enough to compete. Though.
Right.
It's enough to compete, and it's just crazy that the men's team is just this dysfunctional. Thank God for the women's team, or else we'd just be a complete joke.
But you know what? I got to bring this up though. The women's side knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
What's going on this side? I mean, it makes you wonder. I don't think it's like
with the women. You can give the argument that there's no football on the women's side, like American football, that's taken like some of our best athletes over to that sport. But like, still, it's still a 330 million person country. Like I've said for like the 15th time.
Well, and not only that, I call their bluff on that too, because we see countries like England, for example, and they have rugby, and they never blame the rugby.
There's countries with other major sports, and it doesn't take away from their soccer teams because they're losing out on their best talent. So
Russia's a hockey country. Nobody complains about them because they're not in the World Cup.
Yeah. So.
No,
it's the men's team's really dysfunctional, and it'll be interesting.
They have a legitimate superstar on their team,
yeah,
with Christian Pulisic, and they can't even qualify for the World Cup.
Insane.
I honestly, if you're a U.S. soccer fan, you should be. I don't even think you need to be a fan. I think as long as you're a citizen of the country, you just understand how crappy this is, because this is ridiculous.
I think everybody understands, like. Most people understand with like a general sports knowledge that U.S. soccer is a mess.
Oh,
like
you didn't get me to my second point, which actually this is the perfect segue to. Is that where's the media in all of this? And I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but where's the media in this? And I can give you the answer right now. If ESPN had World Cup rights right now, you would know that every single person with a microphone would be screaming about the U.S. team right now. But they don't have the rights this year.
That's my biggest criticism about ESPN. If they don't have the rights to something, they're just going to pretend it doesn't exist, even though you're the worldwide leader in sports.
Hockey and soccer.
There goes my ESPN job possibly in the future, but I don't care. But
we lost it a long time ago.
But like, we're the worldwide leader in sports, but if we don't have rights for hockey, we're not going to talk about it. If we don't have rights for soccer, no.
Hands off. We're not touching.
NASCAR is dying anyway, but like when they had the NASCAR rights, ton of NASCAR coverage on SportsCenter and stuff.
Slight bump.
Yeah, but like once they got rid of the rights, that doesn't exist anymore. We're not touching it.
Yeah, well, that one is a little more severe because as soon as they took their hands off of NASCAR really doesn't exist.
Yeah, so but that's just the thing. ESPN doesn't touch anything they don't have rights for, and it's kind of ridiculous when you pride yourselves on being like the best sports network.
Well, you're not getting the quality coverage that you really should be getting. I mean, I can understand that the difference between 1995 and 2018 is that I can get my score here rather than there on the TV. That's the big difference right now. But that doesn't excuse, because this is the information age. I understand that we can get the information, but now we're analyzing that information. And you should be analyzing
everything.
You should
you
don't need
just because
70 hours a week of NFL coverage on ESPN that they're contractually obligated to do.
More sports.
You don't need the other 40 of NBA coverage. Yeah. You don't need the other NCAA garbage that you throw down everyone's throats. Which, by the way, you don't even have all the NCAA games yet. You parade those games around like they're like the greatest event of all time. Like, for example, USC UCLA was on Fox last year. Yeah, they were talking about it a lot. It's honestly, and you know what? Whatever. They got the college sports.
Well, this is why Fox Sports 1 has gained so much traction in recent years, ever since they became a network, is because they're doing a much better job with their coverage.
Right.
They still fall into some of the same tropes as ESPN does, but they're doing much better because ESPN just doesn't understand what they need to do.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd for like 40 minutes today, and he talked about 4 different sports.
Meanwhile, over in ESPN
LeBron.
Meanwhile, ESPN land, it's just NFL, NBA all the time.
Yeah.
And they'll pretend baseball's a thing when playoffs or
All-Star.
Yeah, and All-Star.
Or somebody hits a 500-foot home run. Or they got to use their fancy StatCast.
And this is also the thing that ESPN does is they can go forever about not talking about a certain sport, and they just rely on a superstar from that sport to do something before they start covering it again for a few minutes. So like baseball is Aaron Judge right now. Aaron Judge is the big guy because like we see with NBA where like LeBron's everything.
Right.
We see it with the NFL like where guys like Tom Brady, Cam Newton, when they do big things, they're everything to ESPN. And then, but the thing is with these smaller sports, they don't get the coverage. They only get the coverage when the superstars do anything. So you got Serena in women's tennis.
You got Ovechkin from last night.
Yeah, exactly. You got Aaron Judge in baseball. You got your Rafa Nadal or Roger Federer or Novak Djokovic in men's tennis. If those three don't do anything for a bit, which we haven't seen much lately in tennis coverage because they're not doing a ton.
Throw tennis in there too. NBC gets the rights for some of those things, and you can hardly even notice that tennis exists.
Or and like the only time we'll ever hear anything about NASCAR is if their current 7-time champion does anything, and he's been quiet for a while. So
there's another example of this that I just remember from the past: cycling with Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Remember when cycling was the fad? Like what was it?
I'm
2005?
not going to pretend I know much about cycling because
I know nothing.
I don't watch
I know nothing.
I know the basics of cycling, but like I have not watched a competitive cycling race since the Olympics. And
no, I would take it even further for me.
Yeah, but like
I think Floyd Lance
is riding
cycling
right
a bike
now?
by then.
We don't know because
who's even the first star?
Yeah, like because ESPN's not fixated on that sport, or they're not giving enough coverage of that sport, even though it's a major sport. Like every country but the U.S. has like major stars in that sport. So that's a huge problem that ESPN has is they don't give enough coverage to other sports. I can also bring another example of WNBA. You got plenty of stars in there doing ridiculous things right now, and ESPN doesn't even move the needle. They'll show one game a week on other networks, even though they have the rights to do whatever they want with WNBA games. So it's just NFL, NBA all the time. Just keep punching. That's all anyone ever cares about. And I think it's a media problem where people would care about other sports if there was more coverage for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about sports is we're about having fun in sports, and we want to be able to have fun with other people through sports. So, like, if we're going to talk about the game last night, ESPN had to, should have covered the game so we can talk about that sport.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's no coverage whatsoever to begin with, then I don't have anybody to talk to about cycling, for example. If I were a huge cycling fan, because nobody else watches cycling because it's not covered. So, I really think it's the media's fault why some of these other sports don't get as much coverage. It's literally the media's fault why some of these sports aren't as popular as the NFL and the NBA. Like the media has a bigger role than you think they do.
Right. I'm gonna get my rope. I'm gonna throw it out there and reel it back in.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Because I had this nice soccer point ready to go, and
I don't think we've ever talked about something like that on the Rage.
No,
I don't think we've gone into like that part of ESPN and why it just fails at being the worldwide leader in sports.
On the off chance that they're actually listening,
they won't. They don't even listen to the people on Twitter yelling on their SportsCenter account yelling at them for what's wrong. So, and they still change things in the wrong direction. But
I mean, how many times do they try to get a picture from a hockey game or something like that, and they're just like, "Get your hockey writers back, and we'll do it."
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, back to my point about
your point. We'll rope it back in. We'll go backwards.
With United States soccer and the media, again, they get paraded around. It's it's essentially like, good job, you made it to the World Cup. We're proud of you. Go do the United States. You know what? The floor is the ceiling. We expected you here, but then anything else after that is just like an ended. We gotta stop that, people. We're the United States of America.
Yeah,
when have we ever?
That's really.
When have we ever settled for we made it?
Only
I thought we're supposed to be the best at everything. Well, apparently we're,
I don't know where the culture came from where it's like just do good enough, but like that's kind of
just good enough.
That's crazy.
You have the resources.
You don't see that in any other pro sport.
And you brought up the point earlier about like, oh well, they don't have the football thing going on. Let me tell you about that because I talked about the rugby thing. But let me bring you another component to this. It's that 9 players on the starting lineup for every NFL team are above or at the weight of 275. When do you have a 275-pound soccer player? That's half of the entire team slashed right there. So, okay, moving on. All the quarterbacks. You get some athletic quarterbacks. You also get some slow quarterbacks.
You also get some slow guys that are just kind of tall and like have a good arm. That's about it.
They're not playing soccer.
Like,
I hate to break it to
I'm
you.
not seeing like a guy like Carson Palmer like playing soccer.
No, they are not playing soccer.
Or who else do I not think is like a super athletic quarterback?
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
See Josh Allen play soccer?
Josh Allen wouldn't be a
Tom
soccer
Brady,
player.
is he playing soccer?
No, yes, exactly.
Peyton Manning, is he playing soccer?
Like, you could make a case for a dude like Cam Newton who's built, he's athletic,
He might be too big.
He might be too big now, but like
Auburn,
when I think
Cam
of it,
Newton maybe could have made a transition, but he just put too much muscle for soccer.
It's the more athletic quarterbacks maybe, but like even so, like I don't think they'd be as good as soccer players as they are quarterbacks. If they had played soccer instead of football.
All right, the quarterbacks gone off the list.
Yeah,
linebackers too big. I think they're.
I think you can make
too
your
quick.
best
They're
case.
not stamina.
Your best case, I think, is for running backs.
Yep.
Wide receivers, maybe.
Yes. Corners.
Corners. Yeah.
I think corners are number one. I think they're the most like a soccer player on every NFL roster.
Corners.
I think wide receivers, they might be a little too tall. Although I don't know what too tall is for soccer, but yeah,
I think they'd be fine as long as they got the quickness and especially the footwork.
But we're talking about three positions on an NFL roster that you could really make that transition.
Yeah,
to soccer.
the 6'5", 300-pound offensive lineman's going to be your perfect soccer guy. No.
Stop. If you want to make that case, I'll tell you the sports. Baseball, throw them all out. I mean, maybe
baseball
one or two.
Players are not your best athletes. They have a skill that they've honed in on for years upon years.
Keith Hernandez said this best. You can be strong, you can be weak. You can be tall, you can be short. If you can hit a baseball, that's all really anyone cares about.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps if you're tall and strong, but if you get the
if
contact...
you have the Aaron Judge build and you're crushing balls out of the park, that's fine.
Your life is set.
Like, you don't need to be Aaron Judge to be good at baseball. So, like, again, throw everybody out from baseball because, like, they're not all the best athletes.
I mean...
There are some guys that are freak athletes that could have done other sports if they wanted to, but, like, again, we're looking for an
here's the other
excuse
thing,
and there
too.
isn't one.
It's a passive sport moving into an active sport. This is something that you would have to be training since you were, like, 8 and playing competitive soccer at that level. I think 8 is even conservative.
Yeah.
So, again, that's why I'd be a little more cautious. I think let me start over. The NBA guys, I think you cut off half of them, you put a line past 6'3", they're either too tall or they're too skinny.
Yeah.
Or too big. I'll throw too big in there, too. Because those tall guys, some of them, like, use Yao Ming for an example. Throw a really extreme one out here just so I can hone in on this point. Yao Ming, 7'6". Did 7'6" play in any kind of soccer game?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
too slow and he wouldn't have the endurance. Like,
right.
The thing about being a big guy like that is you will not have the endurance that soccer requires you to have. So throw those big guys out.
Point guards, shooting guards, the occasional small forwards.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you're pulling out of basketball.
Yeah. LeBron and lower. That's
maybe a small forward at goalie. Maybe.
But yeah, it's just. Well, if you're talking goalie, let's get the 6'5", 300-pound offensive lineman out.
Oh my god.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, no, I would too. But I mean,
I would like to see a purely offensive lineman soccer match. Ooh. I would pay for that.
Oh, I would pay for that too. They have to be on a current NFL team. Do East versus West. I'm down. Let's do it.
Charity. For charity.
Let's pitch this to the MLS and the NFL. See, and there are a few stadiums that still use an NFL stadium for an MLS game.
Yeah.
New England, I'm looking at you. Make yourself useful for the first time in your life.
God.
My God, this has been derailed twice. You know what?
That's how it goes with us because we don't have Danny. We don't have our moderator.
Danny, this is what happens when you're not here.
Danny, come back.
You can blame it all on me. Okay, anyway. we were gonna go World Cup picks at some point. I feel like
let's
while
just
we're
do
still
that
on
now while
topic,
we're on World Cup before we move
we're a
somewhere
little.
else.
We're going off script here, people. It's not like we haven't done this before, so I'm not really too concerned. But
We haven't even gotten to Stanley Cup Finals or NBA Finals.
that's why we have hour number 2.
Yeah, we're already almost done with hour 1.
Yeah, this is a breeze. But anyway. Oh, by the way, we should probably have noticed this earlier too. Since we don't have SPI regulations anymore, and we probably should have started this in the beginning too, but it's okay. We don't have SEC regulations anymore, so we're really gonna let our hair down here. Unless Robbie has anything else to add to that.
No, I'm fine
No.
I wouldn't put it as letting our hair down, but
Okay, that's fair. Although I did do that tonight. Alright, so why don't we go through all the groups? Again, I know nothing about soccer other than the United States and like the occasional European game.
when it comes to international soccer, I'm not as good as MLS and stuff, but I know like generally how things will go.
Okay.
I think.
You got an idea?
I think my predictions will be serviceable.
Well, here we go.
So
This is the rage around the globe. We are officially going international today as we are getting ready for the FIFA World Cup. And why don't we start with Group A? We have Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay.
that sounds like Russia all the way. Yeah, I don't imagine. It was Russia, Uruguay, Egypt. What was the other one?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. When I think Saudi Arabia, I don't think soccer powerhouse.
I think gas.
I think oil.
Now, if this was the oil Olympics,
Like, I think of Saudi Arabia as a country with a bunch of oil, not a country with a bunch of good soccer players.
no politics rule does apply on this show still.
Well, that's not politics. It's just
No, I'm just stating that right
like,
now.
They just have oil. Like,
they
don't have a huge sports culture.
No. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm envisioning in my head was a little bit worse than that.
We can't talk about how Trump's not inviting teams anymore to the White House. Or is that borderline that we're allowed to?
I mean, he's going to invite the Capitals, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he will.
They're all Canadian and Russian. I mean,
True.
with TJ Oshie. They're all going to show up. He's going to make an example out. Okay, anyway.
Look at these fine gentlemen. They'll stand up for their rights.
Listen, my feeling is this. I don't give a crap if you go to the White House or not. That's your choice. And President, if you don't want them there, they don't have to go. The end. It's that easy. You don't win the championship, and the championship is like some White House plaque. You win the Stanley Cup.
You're not doing it to get invited to the White House.
It's a bonus. I mean, does Justin Trudeau invite the Blackhawks over to the Prime Minister building in Ottawa?
He could if he wanted.
He could if he wanted. He doesn't do it, though. Yeah. So, anyway.
But, like, it's not a big deal if you do or not. Like, you've already won the thing.
Yeah,
that
it's just a bonus.
You spent your entire life trying to get this thing. You've won it.
Right.
You didn't spend your entire life working to get a White House visit. So, yeah, I don't care if it's.
I feel like I'm speaking too much sense here. I need to back off if I want viewers. Anyway.
Hot take. Quick, hot take. Make a hot take.
Saudi Arabia is winning the World Cup.
I'm holding you to that.
No, I was sarcastic.
We'll see how well they do now that you said that, though.
Oh, that being said. Watch them be the Cinderella this year. Anyway.
Russia's the best team in that group. Hands down.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta pick two.
We'll go with Egypt next to Russia.
Ooh!
I'm gonna go with
Uruguay's
Egypt.
pretty good, though.
I know. I'm gonna go with Egypt.
Wow.
You gotta pick. This is like March Madness. You gotta go with upsets too.
So what, like last 4-year cycle is the United States and that one group with Portugal and Germany?
Yeah.
With, what was that African country?
I can't even remember.
Ghana?
That sounds about right.
They're like our rival in soccer.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
We've played them like 3 straight World Cups. Well, not this year. But my picks, I'm going to go Uruguay 1, Russia 2.
I'm going Russia, Egypt.
I'm going to bring
Uruguay's
my
gonna
brief
fall.
analysis here, if you don't mind. I know one player on Uruguay. That's Luis Suarez.
There you go.
He is going to bite 1.5 players in this World Cup cycle. What, over under? No, seriously. I
No
think
biting in soccer. Bring soccer back.
Suarez don't get any ideas. He got a lot of shit for that. Anyway.
Why would you bite or lick people? It's just weird.
Why? Why? Why?
It's insane.
Why?
You're just insane.
Why would you bite somebody? You don't bite people. You bite food. I'm not spending. It's ridiculous. I even have to say that. But
Yeah.
you know what I think it is though? It's players that are hyper competitive. They will do anything, and as soon as that little switch isn't there, they got to do something to crank it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's when the bite happens. You know, usually the great athletes can psych them up or psych themselves up by doing something on the sideline or whatever. Some guys, they got to do something a little more permanent. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going Uruguay and Russia, so that's gonna be my 1-2 right there. I think Saudi Arabia and Egypt are just. I'm sorry.
I'll agree with you in Saudi Arabia, but Egypt's gonna come from behind, and they're gonna do it all.
I don't agree. All right, Group B: Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran.
Portugal, Spain.
I don't know any of these countries or two of these countries. I mean, Morocco is right next to Spain.
Yep. And then Iran is next
By the
to
way,
Iraq.
World Cup organizers, good job. You've geographically spread this group out. They're all within a small radius of each other, with the exception of Iran.
Yeah, that's not even that far away though. Like they could have gone with like a Southeast
What
Asian
are we
country
doing?
or
Like,
something.
come on. Really? They're all like neighbors. Might as well play
That'll
those.
be an interesting group because they're neighbors though. There's gonna be
Yes.
a lot on the line in that group
Yeah.
because they're all right next to each
I
other.
wonder how often Morocco plays Spain and Portugal. I mean, they can't all be Europe, right? I mean, Morocco is in Africa, but I mean,
Yeah.
I never really know where these international lines are.
But yeah, Portugal, Spain, all the way.
I'm
gonna go with Spain as my one.
gonna flip the order. I'll go Portugal, Spain, but it's gonna be those two are coming out of there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that's just it's a safe bet that those two are gonna be the ones that come out of the group.
although rivalry with Morocco, you never really know.
Morocco.
You know, honestly, I'm probably not going to watch any of this, but I probably would watch just for those three teams. Just because I feel like the rivalry aspect will be pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. Here we go. Group C. We have La France, Australia, Peru, and Denmark.
Australia, Peru, Denmark. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go France, Peru.
France and Peru.
I'm gonna go France, Peru. I hate having to go against Australia, but like that's probably one of the toughest ones yet.
Okay, I can understand that. This is where I'm going.
Those,
I'm going to go France 1. I think France is a sustainable power. They're going to be number one.
I think France was probably the safest one you could go with.
Yeah,
In
but then after
prediction-wise?
that, I'm going to go Peru.
You're gonna go Peru too.
Peru, I feel like they got that underdog thing going on. They're not in the World Cup that often. They're coming into this thing. I think they're ready to crack some skulls.
I don't like. It's hard to pick against Australia.
It's just such quality coverage
Yeah.
we're giving right now, by the way. We think they're going to go in there and win some
It
games.
shows you how much I know about international soccer.
This is why we're doing it right now. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm going to go France and Peru. Australia's going to make a run, though.
I feel like Australia's
I'm
good
going
enough soccer
Australia's going to make a run. I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that Australia, they're just going to make this little push up, make things a little uncomfortable for Peru at the end. But Peru's just going to. I think Peru's just a better team.
That's fair.
Group D. Oh, this is the fun one. Argentina,
All right, well, they're in the next one.
Croatia, Nigeria, and Iceland.
Oh man, Iceland had heroics last World Cup. Right?
Iceland did.
I think it was England they took down.
That was the Euros 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That's your brief soccer knowledge.
Iceland's got like. What were the other two? It's Argentina,
Yeah.
Iceland, Nigeria,
Croatia.
Croatia. Oof.
This is a good group.
I'm going Argentina, Iceland. I'm gonna say that the Iceland soccer program is just on the up and up, even though they have like 300,000 people.
I'm gonna say this: Argentina, they're gonna win all 3 of their games.
Well, like how do you go against Argentina?
Right. But that being said, I look at the next 3. I see Iceland with a proven success record, which that just sounds so weird to say right now. Croatia, I don't know what's going on with them.
I would say they're average.
I
They're a
guess
European team.
they're
so
there every year, but I mean, when do they make noise? They just have the checkered shirts. The checkered shirts
And
is
then
all they got.
Nigeria, I don't know.
I don't know anything about Nigeria, and that's why I don't want to pick them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Out of all of the teams, I think I don't know the most. It's probably Nigeria.
Yeah,
Up
I don't
there
know.
with
Nigeria
Morocco.
could be like a huge wild card. I don't know enough.
Nigeria could win the cup, or Nigeria could lose all their games. I wouldn't know. But anyway, because I don't know,
They definitely won't win all their games. I know the definitive powers. Like,
I didn't say that. I just said they're going to
but
win
yeah,
the cup.
well,
But I'm going to go with Iceland. Iceland is the number 2. Again, they just have a proven record of success, and they're going against some oddballs in their group with Nigeria and Croatia. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
Nigeria's just too much of a wild card.
Moving on to Group E. Now this one might be a little fun to pick too. Different reasons though. We have Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia.
I'm going Brazil, Costa Rica.
Okay.
Going Brazil, Costa Rica.
Now I do remember Costa Rica made not the Sweet 16, the round of 16 last
I just want to
cycle.
call every round of 16 Sweet 16.
I
It just
I
sounds
held
better.
myself off.
It just sounds better.
I said nope, we're over here.
We're all about having fun in sports. Let's give it a fun name, Sweet 16.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go Brazil 1, I think. Again, they're probably going to win all their games, too. I'm going to go upset alert here.
Who you going with?
I'm going with Serbia, baby.
Serbia.
Listen,
Land of Nikola Rakikovic.
I think if there's any way that Serbia is going to get into the next, into the knockout round, it's going to
I
be
can see Serbia.
exclusively because they beat Costa Rica and Switzerland. And I think it's possible. I really do. Again, I don't know anything about this team, and I don't know much about Switzerland.
I can believe Serbia. I can't believe Switzerland. I can't think that they're good enough.
No, I feel like they got in by some wacky
I know
FIFA,
Costa Rica has a decent team, so
but
I mean they got in and the U.S. didn't. So
we already spent 20 minutes talking about that, Robbie. I'm not. We're done. But no, I think if there's a time in which Serbia is going to make a run, this is their time.
yeah,
I'm going Serbia. I'm all in on Serbia going into the knockout round. That's my upset alert right there. Moving on to Group F. Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea.
Germany, Mexico. I think that one's probably one of the easier ones.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Germany, Mexico.
So from what I've been reading on the interweb is that this is the quote-unquote group of death.
I think that one's easier.
I'm going to make another bold statement here. I don't think Mexico's going to the next round.
I think Mexico is.
I'm going to go with Sweden here.
Yeah, I can see that one. South Korea, not so much.
Here's my rationale on
I can
this.
see Sweden.
I think the time zone issue is a bigger factor than what people are giving credit to.
Oh,
I think
time zones make a big
Mexico is
deal.
primarily central
Time zones are a big
and
deal.
the Pacific time. And they're going across the globe, basically, and playing, I think,
You're
12
right.
hours behind.
You're right.
I think that's
Okay.
a lot
I feel
bigger
you.
of a deal than what people are making this out to be. That's why I'm going Sweden, too.
Time zone difference. I didn't even think of that.
That's the quality analysis you get here on the page.
The quality analysis on international soccer.
This goes right up there with the fact that I will never pick a West Coast team on the East Coast at a 1 p.m. kickoff. I will never do it.
Never?
I know.
It's hard to say never, but like it does. It is an
There,
advantage.
let me qualify this a little bit more. There are certain exceptions to that rule, i.e., like I don't know, the Seahawks playing the Browns. But after that, I mean, I've seen it too many times. The Raiders come into Orchard Park. They claim they have the better team this year. Bills start slapping them around.
All right. Well, the Raiders thing's a little different because
it's just one example.
We had
But
incompetent coaching. I don't like that example because the Raiders were a mess this year.
Okay, but let me give you another example then.
But I get what you mean.
But anyway,
I
think that's a lot bigger of a deal.
I think it is a big deal when it comes to at least the NFL, where like West Coast teams coming over to the East, the time zone.
And that's only 3 hours.
Yeah.
This is a lot more than 3 hours. So that's why Sweden, they're practically right next door to Russia.
Yeah.
They've done this whole charade before. By the way, also another thing I want to notice too. Remember when Costa Rica made it to like the quarterfinals or whatever last cycle or whatever? Time zones? Hello? Europe is coming over here in Costa Rica as it doesn't have to adapt. They play in the same time zone as Brazil. I don't know. Food for thought. I think these are a lot bigger deals than what people make them out to be. So they got to play the game somewhere there. So I mean, whatever. Anyway, Group G: Belgium, Panama, Tunisia, England.
Ooh.
Can I do it first?
Go ahead.
Panama.
I am gonna go Panama as my one.
Ooh! Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna go Panama as my one.
Seatbelts on. Panama is your one. Okay, you have to explain this one.
Hey man, South American soccer for the win. No, as a one, I might be a little pushing it a little, but no, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna. Half these predictions are gonna be bad anyway. So Panama 1, England 2. Bye Belgium. Feels bad, man.
Wow, Belgium out.
I'm with Team Chaos, so I'm okay with that.
All right, this is where I'm gonna go. I'm not putting Panama through. For the same logic, I'm not putting Mexico through. In Tunisia,
what's that Tunisia?
Listen, I'm going to have the same conversation I'm having with you that I had with Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Congratulations. You are the United States of this year. You made the tournament. Exit stage left.
Feels bad, man.
England won, Belgium 2. I don't know anything about these teams, but I know that they're the better team, so...
Yeah.
Fine by me.
Panama, man.
And then the last group, I think we'll just do groups for now, and then we'll do knockout stage when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to go with this. Because I don't even know how this works. Maybe we can make our country prediction too, and then watch that one. We're not making brackets. Although they should be making brackets for this. I'd do a bracket. Anyway.
Any like playoff kind of system like this.
Okay, this one might be a little more wide open. Senegal, Colombia, Japan, and of course, Buffalo's favorite, Poland.
Colombia. I don't want to pick between Japan and what was it? It was
You also have Senegal and Poland.
Yeah, Japan and Poland.
Are you rolling out Senegal already?
Senegal's a tiny sliver of a country over in Africa, where like Senegal you can barely find on the map as it is. That's not happening.
It's the Trinidad and Tobago of Africa.
Poland, Japan. Poland, Japan. That's what I'm going with.
Yes, yeah, I'm down for this one. Facebook, you know who I'm picking number one. Polska, baby! Let's get it. Dingus Day. I don't like Colombia, so Japan too.
Oh shoot, Colombia. I'm gonna go Poland, Japan. Yeah.
You still going Poland, Japan?
Yeah, Colombia's tough to leave
Wow,
out.
we actually agreed on a group.
Poland, Japan.
I'm throwing Colombia out. I'm at the point.
That's gonna be such a bad choice, dude.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna be regretting it. Colombia's gonna make like the semifinal, and we ruled them out. Like, yeah, no, but
where's Danny to keep us in line?
you know, Danny would police this one. Danny, you can't do this to us, man. This is what happens to the show when you're not here.
Jeez.
Next week. Anyway, so World Cup prediction. Who's gonna come out of Russia with a gold trophy?
Argentina.
Going with Argentina?
Argentina.
Well,
Argentina.
this one's tough for me because I have half a horse in this race. I'm probably gonna root for Poland in this.
That's not happening. It's not happening.
I'm wearing white and red as long as I can, baby. That being said, I think the winner is going to be the neighbor next door. Gonna go Germany.
That was my second choice. I was almost going to pick Germany, but I'm like, no, Argentina.
It's the same reason why I'm going with Iceland and going to the knockout round. Sustainable success, I think, with soccer.
Germany's a very good pick.
It's the safe pick.
It's a very safe pick.
It is the safe. It's probably the safe.
They will be a Final Four team. They'll make it to the semifinals.
You know what? I'm not calling it round of 16 or quarterfinals. It's Sweet 16. It's Elite 8. It's Final Four. And then it's the championship.
I'm curious what other people think about that. Does that take away from the NCAA March Madness if we start calling other things Sweet 16 stuff?
We make the rules here, Robbie.
I know, but does that take away? That's just all I'm wondering.
Yes, it does. No, I can tell you it does because it just derailed everything. But anyway, so we're gonna keep following along. Well, we got to get Danny's picks too.
Yeah, we'll have to get Danny's.
We'll get Danny's picks at some point. He's I don't even know where he works. Do you even know where he works?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
I don't know.
He could be conning us for all we know. He could be like, I don't know, going to a movie right now and just like laughing at us that we're doing the show, and he's sitting there in his comfy recliner seat and watching, I don't know what movie's out right now. Something. I'm not a film buff. But anyway, why don't we steer this train wreck onto another rail, and let's talk about the NBA. Because I know,
let's steer this train wreck right into another train wreck.
Robbie, go. Just go, Robbie.
Oh my God.
Where do we start?
The super team thing just needs to stop. It's just destroying any fun in the playoffs. We all knew Golden State was going to be here. There was a small chance that Houston was going to beat them. But we knew that Golden State was probably going to just freight train on through, and now they're destroying the Cavs because it's LeBron and only LeBron. He doesn't have good enough teammates. You could make an argument for Kevin Love, and now most recently Rodney Hood for whatever reason. But the Cavs don't have enough to take on Golden State. We knew this was going to happen because Golden State has 3 of the best shooters in the league. Super team. It needs to stop.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and, cry super team because I was a fan of one for 4 years.
That was different. That's not the same level. The Heat. The Heat. All right, LeBron came and they built that. That wasn't the same super team that when I'm calling a super team now in the current NBA, I'm thinking the Warriors, and they've got a former unanimous MVP. You got Kevin Durant. You got Klay Thompson. 3 amazing shooters already as it is, and then Kevin Durant's how tall is he? He's almost 7 foot.
I think he's 6'10".
He's either 6'10" or 6'11". But he's that big and he can shoot the 3 no problem. What the heck?
Right.
That's a super team. And then they still have a lot of great players off the bench and stuff too. Meanwhile, you got the Cavs over. They've made it to the finals somehow with almost nothing. So that's a super team. What the Miami Heat have with LeBron, that's different. that you can call that a super team if you want, but it's nowhere near the same level.
Right. And, I mean, listen, it was the gateway drug to this.
Mm-hmm.
The gateway drug originally was the Celtics because KG and Ray Allen just conveniently going to the Celtics one year.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but again, this is the marijuana to a drug abuser. You know, you do a little. Oh, this is fun. Like, look, Ray Allen's shooting threes from the corner, and Paul Pierce is doing these spin moves in the paint, and look at KG just get all the rebounds. And then the Heat get theirs, and I love that one. I mean, that basketball was fun, but
it was a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
And
and let me just
it's
make
hard
this,
to say that the NBA
let me
is
make
fun
this
to watch
clear
too,
to all of the Facebook people. I've been a Heat fan since 2004. So
you're not a bandwagon guy. It just happened that...
Au contraire, I was a fan before even Shaq was there. I was a Heat fan before it was cool to be a Heat fan. So, I was there for all 3 championships. So, okay. Now since I've qualified myself, and you don't sit there and call me a bandwagon, and I'm still a Heat fan now.
I also want to disclaim that I'm not a fan of any NBA team. I'm a casual guy.
Yeah.
I will follow the league, but I'm not a fan of any specific team.
Oh, no.
Whenever I say there's no bias, and when it comes to him in the Heat, there's not a ton of bias, like, when it comes to being a bandwagon guy.
Right.
Because, like, you were there way before LeBron.
I have the 2006 championship hat. It's at my mom's house. Like, I can pull it out for Facebook Live next week.
One of the guys that just follows LeBron wherever he goes.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Which I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but like it's still kind of being a bandwagon fan for that team.
It's a little shady.
Yeah.
But on the anyway,
that's a different discussion.
Listen, I'll just say this up front: I am your stereotypical Heat fan. When they're good, I put the shirt on. I'm obnoxious. The moment they start losing in the third quarter, I'm putting on hockey. I mean, I really start watching it in the second half of the season, and even then, I slightly don't care about it. As soon as the Heat are in the playoffs...
Let's be honest. Who is a big enough fan of the NBA to watch the entire first half of the season along with the second half? The season's so long.
Season ticket holders, that's it.
The product is not good enough to watch 82 games a
Well,
year.
why don't we just...
Like, what are you people doing?
I want to know the ones that go to an NBA game when there's an NFL game on at the same time.
I don't know. The product's not good.
No.
We'll get into that a little bit with why these finals are awful. But, like, it's... I don't know how people can stay so involved in the NBA throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
Especially, like, you can tell the players are not giving it their all because the season's too long.
Right.
There's endurance issues with that. And especially, like, you can tell, like, nobody's playing their best defense during the regular season.
No.
So, there's still points even in these finals where guys aren't playing good defense.
Yeah, no, it's a shit show. But...
to say the least.
It is! I mean, it's 2 teams and then 28 other teams.
Yeah.
With, like, 2 teams somewhat in the middle, but not, like, they're not the Knicks, but they're not the Warriors. Look, where I'm going to put this is plain and simple. Is that the NBA, you're a 7-game league. NBA Finals Game 1, NBA Finals Game 2, NBA Finals Game 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what you're good at. Before that, I don't care. I mean, I'll watch a rogue Thursday night game solely to watch Charles Barkley do pregame and halftime. I'll watch... And again, I'm more of a hockey guy, so like me even putting basketball on is even, an October hockey game is not even to this level. An October hockey game is entertaining. An October hockey game you can get yourself emotionally into. An October NBA game, or when do they start? November?
They start November.
A November NBA game? Why? I can't get into it. Like, what makes you sit there on the edge of your seat going, oh, there's a dunk over there. Oh, there's a 3-point shot over there. Oh, there's so much going on.
It's a product of, it's not an exciting product because you got every other play somebody just trying to play ISO the entire time and just run the whole offense to them and them only. So, like, they'll just dribble.
Russell Westbrook.
James Harden is pretty bad with this, too. We see it a lot with LeBron in the regular season.
Well, LeBron's different.
But
I mean, that's
LeBron can do it, and because like he's just that good. But like you see where like a guy like James Harden or Russell Westbrook will try to just take over, and just not run an offense, every other play, and it hurts the product of the game so much.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring in the WNBA about this in a few minutes, because just from what I saw last night, it's night and day the product of basketball. What's going on right now? But like regular season NBA, it's not fun to watch. I don't know how you get involved into it enough to where you're following every game heavily, like you should as a diehard fan. So it's it's I don't know. And then these finals, I guess we can transition into that unless you have anything to say.
Nope.
Where it's just like the finals, oh my god, they've been so boring. Like the product of basketball. Game 1 was kind of okay. It was down to the wire until J.R. Smith was like on some kind of drugs to where he didn't realize he wasn't ahead in the final seconds.
No, I small tangent here. How are you an NBA player in one of the biggest games of your career and you don't know the score?
The Cavs should have a win right now. It should be 2-1.
And now they're going to get swept tonight because
They're probably going to get swept because I don't think LeBron's going to have... Like, LeBron's going to try, but, like...
he's emotionally gone.
I think he's ready to move on from
I
Cleveland.
think he was emotionally gone
He's
last
got
year.
to... If he wants to stay in the GOAT conversation, although, like, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, he's the best basketball player to ever live, he's got to move to somewhere where he can actually win championships. And Cleveland's done absolutely nothing.
Right.
He's lucky to have even gotten the one.
Remember in the beginning of the season? Oh, look at these former All-Stars. These Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, this loaded bench.
The ownership and management.
Isaiah Thomas.
And Cleveland's going to be a gutter team again. And they're going to be just tanking and hoping that they're the number 1 pick for LeBron's son when he comes through. Because he's starting to get older. I think he's 14 now. So
he's not even from Ohio.
Yeah, but like... Get LeBron's son, who's probably going to be another generational talent. He's looking pretty good. And try and be good again through another member of the James family. But Cleveland's management is ridiculous. It's insane how you've had, it's 4 years now of LeBron again?
Yeah.
The second trip? And you've only gotten 1 championship out of him. And it's not because he's playing bad.
But let me get the common themes out here. What was the first one? Not enough help. What was the third one? Not enough help. What was the fourth one? Not enough help.
Like, yeah, you got Kevin Love, but you need more than just LeBron and Kevin
You
Love.
had Kyrie Irving for 2 of them, and you needed more
Kyrie
help.
Irving too, and you still didn't put enough around them. You didn't put a good enough bench to be able to help out. Like, you can't just have 3 guys. Well, it's different for the Warriors because they have 3 they have 3 gigantic superstars, but they also got a bench to support the superstars.
Right.
So like 2 superstars, like we saw in the last game, in the finals, 2 superstars were just out of the picture. You had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just have awful nights, but Kevin Durant and the bench picked them up, and Golden State actually was able to just put the final nail in the coffin on the series, even though the Cavs could theoretically win 4 in a row and win the series. Not happening.
If that happens, I mean, I can't even listen. This is so bad. I don't even know. I will take a mattress and I will jump out that window and do jump with the mattress on there. I mean,
what upsets me if that happens is that people are 20 years down the line to be like, that must have been the most exciting final ever. And I'm going to keep saying to people no, it was not. The first 3 games were absolute garbage. And the only reason it would have any historical significance is LeBron did something that nobody else ever could do, is come back from a 3-0 deficit in a playoff series, let alone the NBA Finals, win an NBA championship against possibly the best team ever in NBA history. That's the only thing that could save these finals from being mediocre, is LeBron coming back and winning them. but like it has been a disappointment of finals. Last year was disappointing. When LeBron took down the 73-win Warriors, that was a good series. I think that's probably the best series in a long time for a finals. But besides that, it's been. And that was a year he came back 3-1 that year too. Mm-hmm. So like that was a really good year. But like the finals have been just bad, and I think it's because of super teams. I think it's because the quality of basketball is just garbage. I don't like the product of basketball, and it's just a shame. You have the best players in the world, and you're still putting out a bad product, and like things like changing up how different things are called could change that. Actually, calling fouls would be nice for once. It would be nice if the players thought defense was worth anything.
Right.
And I hate harping on about there's no defense in the NBA, but like there is still defense, but it's just nowhere to the same intensity as you see down in the college ranks, or even over on the women's side in the WNBA.
Well, I mean, part of it's because the game's really fast. It's 48 minutes, and it's kind of hard to keep up sometimes. Yeah. So it's just like
that. Also, like, the game is too long. 48 minutes is not.
Should be 40. It should be 40.
It should be 40. It's one of. I hate quarters, and I hate the 48 minutes.
30-second shot clock, 40 minutes. You want to do quarters?
All about halves.
No.
I know that wasn't the way it was in the NBA to begin with, but I love halves. I wish it were halves. Less commercial breaks that way, too. I mean, if you look at it, too, the scoring is sometimes getting a little out of hand, too. I think 40 minutes might be good enough. No team should be scoring 120-something points in regulation. I just don't understand. And it's normal now. Are you I understand these are the best players ever, and they're better at shooting than, like, a typical college starter. Right. But, 120 points? That's a little much. Overkill. Especially if you're playing I don't know. If this is Golden State against the Knicks, I feel like if all the teams were playing the same level, same gritty, good defense all the time, I feel like 120-point games should be almost never happen. I feel like they should be 100-point games, and I feel like that's much more reasonable. And then if we brought it back down to 40 minutes a game, the score wouldn't be outrageous like that. I'm not saying less scoring's something we should aim for, but I'm saying there should be more defense. Yeah. I don't know. I think you would be encouraging more defense. I think if there's more defense, it's more exciting. Because you're seeing blocks. If you're in the middle of the third quarter, you can slack off. I mean, it's easy to say oh, well, I got time to come back in this game. I'll let him through and whatever. I mean, I won't contest this shot. I'll just sit there with my hands in my pocket and this is the way the NBA is. This is the way that they've been operating now since, I don't know, past Larry Bird. I mean, maybe past MJ. It's just a different brand of basketball, and it's commercial. You don't want to get hurt. That's the other thing too. None of these guys want to get hurt. None of them want to get posterized. What classifies as a poster? You get hurt, you lose out on millions of dollars. So that's a good reason not to play defense. Those contested blocks, nobody wants to get posterized, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what posterized is half the time. But, somebody, is in the zip code or something, and they throw a dunk, oh, he got home! And it's no. Plus, not for nothing, too, I would rather have somebody get, quote-unquote, owned playing defense than not getting owned and being some windmill slammer jammer that, ignites the crowd and, now you're down by 20 with 5 minutes to go. Yeah. I'd rather you try. But, again, American try-hard culture is starting to go down, so we're not. Try-hard culture. But, I don't like the brand of basketball the NBA is playing. And it's unfortunate because it could be so much better. Yeah. Especially when you have guys like LeBron James on rosters and Kevin Durant, and now the 3-pointer is becoming such a big deal in the league. Just a little bit of defense could really hamper that a little bit. We're not asking for much, NBA. We're just asking you to try more than 75% of the time. I'm asking for you to play a little harder defense, and I'm asking you to actually run an offense for once. Oh my god, it was just I didn't know if it was biased for me liking women's basketball or not, but when After watching like just nothing but NBA as my basketball for the past 2 weeks, I haven't touched the WNBA much. I turned on ESPN2 last night, and it's Seattle Storm versus the LA Sparks, 2 top teams in the WNBA right now, and they're playing up-tempo basketball. Both of them are running offense, and it's just they're actually moving the ball around and stuff and finding the best shot. It's just so much better.
It's miles ahead.
It's a much better brand of basketball that people just don't know about because it doesn't get the coverage, and it's a lot. It mirrors a lot more like the college game, except without all the ticky-tacky fouls. So like it's I would go probably college basketball, WNBA, NBA when it comes to quality of basketball.
Yes.
It is the NBA is just so far behind compared to those two, and because like the things we said, they're not putting in the full effort 100% of the time, especially on defense, and they're not running offense.
Yeah.
Like we're not seeing the ball get moved around. We're seeing a superstar just try to take over for a play, and then the next go around, it's another superstar. Now, occasionally you'll see the spurts of great offense being with the ball moving around and stuff, but it's few and far in between compared to college or the WNBA ranks.
Well, I think the other thing too in this is that you have these super teams. So like when you're in the middle or in the bottom of the NBA, which I really don't know where the difference is at that point. But if you're a star on one of those teams, granted, if you're even have a star or you're a star, I mean, I don't know what would be listing this. Drew Bledsoe. Porzingis, like you're a star, I guess, but like what's going to compel you to actually try? Because like it's obvious that you're not going to win the championship.
Yeah, it's just there are so many teams in the NBA that would benefit from having a defensive identity to them. So like if they played harder defense and focused more on defense, they could make up for the fact that they don't have these big stars like Kevin Durant or
Utah Jazz.
Yeah. Like these teams that like are middling teams in the NBA, like if they had a defensive identity to them, they could actually like throw some good punches at some of these teams that they probably aren't going to win against anyway because of the fact that you have 3 superstars on one team.
And again, let me reiterate this. This does work. What he's talking about does work. The Utah Jazz people. They are the most underrated team in the National Basketball Association. They're in the playoffs almost every year and in a good seed too. Just because they play defense. They never have
one gigantic superstar.
Never.
They never
I mean, what? Karl Malone might be the one time.
They had Gordon Hayward, but he's gone now. And
they were a 4 seed last. 3? 3 or 4?
It was one of those two.
They hosted home games.
It was, but yeah, it was. Yeah, they still had a really good season. And they don't have these gigantic superstars that the Warriors or the Celtics or the Cavs have.
Mm-hmm.
Or now the 76ers out of nowhere are good. But yeah, it's if you had a defensive identity to your team in the NBA, you'd be doing pretty well. And I just can't believe more teams don't do it. It's just, does the NBA only draft players that don't play defense? I feel like that's not a thing. You have to still be able to play good defense if you're gonna.
Again, people, the Utah Jazz, #1 example of this. It does work.
But like,
this is not crazy talk.
But yeah, I feel like this is just coming from my opinion of what could make the brand of basketball better. I feel like if defense was focused on more.
But here's the other thing too.
You got guys slouching off on defense all the time, especially in these finals.
But
like LeBron is a good example. Like he's a great player.
Gassed.
Yeah, but he's gassed at this point. But like you'll see him like slouch back here and there. That's because it's just bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's gassed on some of them it is just bad defense, and that's just the product of him being in the NBA for so long. But
yeah.
And like we see a guy like Kawhi Leonard who's hailed as like this defensive juggernaut in the league, and like I feel like there's other players that could be just as good as him at defense if they actually try. Like Kawhi just gives his effort all the way through. That's why he gels with Greg Popovich and the Spurs.
He gels most of the time.
Yeah, but like,
I don't know.
Popovich is an old school guy. He cares about defense and stuff like that. So
Spurs, another example.
Yeah, Spurs are a great example of that. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's just the way basketball's going, or if it's just maybe it's just like an old school brand of basketball. But like, I feel like defense should be a bigger part of any team.
Well, you know what the problem is, right? Basketball now is geared towards the Santanders of the world.
Santana's.
Think about it. They just want to see LeBron drop 50, and they can gloat about it at school the next day.
Yeah, numbers are too big of a deal. Especially, with the NBA, numbers are too big of a deal. Especially like when you're comparing rings and stuff and different accomplishments. Like, oh, this player had like 12 triple levels this year, and this other player had only like 1. So like, they're obviously two different. No, all right. Let's also look at how well the team performed, and that player's shooting percentages, their assist to turnovers and stuff. You could have a triple double, but like that doesn't mean anything if the team's not succeeding.
Right.
Russell Westbrook is the perfect example of this, and that's why I think he's the most overrated player in the NBA. He can go get a triple-double, but he has not shown that he can play with a roster and really take them to different heights as a player. Yeah, the guy can do a triple-double, all right? And, like, that's still talented. I'm not saying he's not a talented NBA player, but he doesn't have that extra edge as a good teammate to, lift his teammates with him and get to a spot like the NBA Finals.
NBA is just a joke right now, honestly. And then you look at hockey right now, and hockey's like, again, every game matters, and, you get great games like the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals, which both of them, or no, I'm sorry, it was only the Eastern Conference that was ended in Game 7, which, let me take a pause here for a second. The NBA, you did your Eastern Conference Finals right, somehow. I don't know. They were both Game 7s. That was pretty cool.
That was really awesome. I'll give it that. Like,
yeah.
The Cavs-Celtics series was actually really interesting to watch. Game 7 was a defensive game, too. And it was a great Game 7. I thought that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, who would have thought a Brad Stevens coach team's going to play defense?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Back to my point, though, with hockey being, like, because you watch these hockey players, and I mean, you got guys that are losing teeth and getting shots in the back of their head, and, they're laying it all on the line, and then you look at the NBA, and it's like, oh, contact. Oh. No. Because Game 1 summarized this all perfectly.
Yeah.
Because when they had that little melee at the end of the game, there was one punch. That wouldn't even qualify as a hockey scrum at the end of a stoppage of play or something like that.
Well, and then we were talking about that night, with how like guys like Draymond Green can get away with talking all this crap.
He can sit there and talk crap, and then the moment someone touches him, it's gonna be
no one's allowed to throw a punch
you're out.
at you. But that's why like you can get away with being like that. That's why like guys like Draymond Green and like Matthew Dellavedova, when he was still relevant, was like they get people upset and mad at you because you just keep talking crap the entire time, but you can get away with it. So yeah.
Yeah. No. And
that's
well, this goes back to my theory, which is that fighting should be not an ejectable offense in certain circumstances in all sports.
I mean, as long as you're not. As long as
here's where I draw the line. Where it's like, listen, if they're sitting there throwing punches at each other and you can't break it up, that's when you gotta toss them.
Yeah.
But when you have people like Draymond Green, who's running his mouth, like, I'm sorry, but he deserves to get pushed out.
He has a history as one of like just the trashiest players in the league in terms of.
And I can understand too, where like, how do you qualify this? For example, like, oh well, one player runs his mouth, and then you can punch him, but this other guy he does it one time, and you like, listen. At the end of the day, these referees break up these skirmishes. They're trying to restore order, and I understand. But in hockey, if it gets bad, duke it out, go to the box, it's all over.
Yeah.
And, I mean, part of it's because of hockey culture. The other part of it's because hockey is a penalty box. I can understand both arguments, why it doesn't work with other sports. But, I mean, we see this with football, too. I mean, Football's no doubt. Football, actually, I think that should be... I wouldn't say that... I'm going to tread lightly here. I think it should be a little like hockey in the sense that if you want to have two guys out there, punch it, that's fine.
Football's tough because as a referee, you're trying to break up a fight between a guys and a bunch of like just they're just tanks because they got helmet, shoulder pads, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, go in the middle of that. I dare you.
So like it's a little it's hard to argue.
I would have at least let them finish, and then eject them. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Just like, I mean, listen. One, you don't think the ratings are going to go up. You care about the ratings a lot these days.
No fun league.
Oh, I think that would be fun if, that, was it the Finnegan versus Andre Johnson fight?
Yeah.
If they would have just let them duke it out, let them, I mean, I think that fight was pretty much over by the time they got in there, because Andre Johnson was literally on top of him with, like, the fist of fury, and he was about to pop him in the face. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that, you know what? These things happen.
Yeah.
This is professional sports. They are ultra-competitive people, and when you have this climate, like, in basketball, where they run their mouths all the time, and you know what? If you want to let them throw a little bit. At the end of the day, eject them. I mean, end it after. I mean, you can't sit there and have them go back out there as soon as they're throwing punches, but at the same time, like, it irritates me as somebody who watches a sport where if you acted like that, World War III would break out. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Exactly. You got any other thoughts on NBA Finals before I have one more thing?
Snooze fest.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. But I just want to say LeBron James, greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan would not have taken this team to the NBA Finals.
Well, I mean, I feel like LeBron and MJ, it's kind of comparing apples and oranges.
It's hard to compare, and I hate doing it. But I'm just going to say that LeBron's the best player of all time. I think all around, he is the best player. He can play all 5 positions on the court, and 4 of them, like, as the best player in the league.
Well, here's where I qualify both of them. I put Michael Jordan as the best guard to ever play basketball.
Yep.
I put LeBron James as the best forward to ever play basketball. And
it's hard to box him in as a forward, though, because he can just run the point just as fine as any
But
other
see, here's the thing, though, is that if either one of those two played a pickup game against Shaquille O'Neal, I put my money on Shaq.
Okay, yeah, I feel you there.
Shaq in his prime, not Shaq now.
Yeah,
Shaq now has been eating donuts for like the last 10 years. And
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But like Shaq, like Lakers Shaq against, I don't know, Miami Heat LeBron and Bulls of the 90s Michael Jordan. I'd take Shaq.
In one-on-one, yeah, I could see it.
And I think a lot of people, when they make these arguments, like, oh, well, we beat him one-on-one.
I hate having to compare it. I really do. But I still think LeBron's the best player ever. He does not have the rings, but like just the numbers alone. He does everything better than Michael did. And it's not to discount what Michael did. I think Michael is easily the second best after LeBron, but LeBron is just doing these ridiculous things that no other player would be able to have done. This Cavs team, your second best player is Kevin Love. Who's your third best player? Jeff Green? Rodney Hood? Like who do you put as your third best player in this Cavs squad that made it all the way to the finals, beat a stacked Celtics team, and swept a Toronto team that was actually really good this year?
Mm-hmm.
How like LeBron is just able to just get everything out of his team, whoever is on it.
And let me say this too: the moment they take LeBron off that team, 27th in the league.
Oh yeah. So many games below 500.
Oh yeah.
So many games below 500. And when LeBron leaves, he's not staying. I refuse to hear anybody say, "Oh, he's gonna stay. He loves Cleveland." No, he's going because he's got to go.
I take a step further. He's gonna be a Laker.
He's either going to be a Laker or he's going to be a 76er. I don't.
He's going to be a Laker. Get it all in your heads now. He's going to be a Laker. Like it's going to happen
because he gets a great point guard in Lonzo Ball, and the Lakers are willing to put everything together. They got great management. They got Magic Johnson. He knows his stuff.
Play a little ball this day.
Yeah, they're not going to be like the Cavs where they're going to be awful and not put a team together around him. So LeBron's going to be fine. And it's just like this Cavs team was garbage, and he still brought them to the finals somehow. Absolutely insane, and I think that's his greatest accomplishment. I think that is above his championships, and is the fact that he took this team to the finals. Mm-hmm. And if he somehow pulls out a win tonight, and like maybe another win after that, that's even crazier against a team this good as the Warriors. So the debate's rested for me. I think he's the greatest player of all time. I don't want to do all the comparing with Michael and stuff. Like, it's stupid to compare players. But, like, I don't see another player in NBA history that would have lifted this team up to the finals.
Well, let me throw this on there, too, is that put LeBron in Michael Jordan's shoes in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be too many teams that could even touch him. Again, it was a different era. It was a different time. LeBron probably wouldn't be as jacked as he was now if he was in the 90s. But all of that aside, putting Michael Jordan in the Cavs now, I don't think they make the finals. You put LeBron...
They're still a really good team because you got Michael Jordan.
Good
I don't know if they get to the finals because they had to go through the Celtics, a really good Toronto team.
Well, Toronto folded.
But Toronto fell apart like they usually do in the playoffs. But they were still a really good team.
They're as ferocious as a Jurassic Park raptor in the regular season, and then they turn into Barney the Purple Dinosaur in the playoffs.
But, yeah, and then I'm also sick of this narrative where you've got... Oh, the East is just trash. No, maybe it's just that LeBron's so good he's making the East look like trash. I don't think people take that.
Oh, I disagree with you on that. Listen, look at the talent level in the West
past years,
on the top teams.
The West is still really good. I'm not taking away from the West. And in the past, years before this year, the East was garbage. But, this was a really good Eastern Conference this year.
Let me take this a step. I'll take this a step further. I think OKC is a top 4 team in the East if they play in the East.
Oh, yeah.
But, OKC is not a good team.
But the East was not a cakewalk this year. It was not a guarantee for the Cavs to get to the
I don't know. They played really bad, and they somehow made it with one series of home court advantage.
Yeah.
I mean...
The bottom half of the Eastern Conference when it comes to the playoffs, they're still trash. But the East is not...
But you gotta evaluate all of the teams in that conference, though. That's the issue with this. Is that the Spurs, I think they'd be fine in the East. They'd make the playoffs, and they'd probably make a little bit of noise in the East. The Utah Jazz... This is the most love I've given the Utah Jazz ever. But the Utah Jazz...
I don't even know if I can't remember ever mentioning the Utah Jazz this much.
Oh, they're getting airtime tonight.
They're getting their money's worth.
Jazz lives matter.
Oh, no, please don't.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't do that. No.
Danny's not here. Danny can't control this. Who knows? Maybe I have to get a Jazz shirt now.
Oh, God.
This is turning into a life of its own. But no, I think the Jazz could be a top 5 team in the East.
Yeah, they could.
But they're what? They're a 4 or 5 team in the West? 3 team in the West? No, the Warriors were a 3 team in the West.
No, the Warriors were 2, weren't they? I think the Warriors were 2.
Houston.
I think it was Houston and Golden State.
Didn't Portland have home court advantage this year?
I can't remember.
Who cares about Portland? But you know what? Portland would have made some noise in the East.
They traded away all their good young players away, and now they're just stuck with Damian Lillard.
Well, let's start to the root of the problem. They could have had KD, and they went with Greg Oden instead.
Greg Oden. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on Greg Oden.
Hey, I have some marginal respect for him.
Yeah.
He played for the Heat. He was on a championship.
That's what I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about the NBA for the show. LeBron James is the greatest player ever. He's already proven it. He doesn't have to do anything more. He can just add on to it by going to a good team next year and winning a couple rings by finally taking down Golden State with a reasonable team. But yeah, we have not talked any hockey.
It's kind of hard when Danny's not here.
It's hard. I feel like you can say some stuff. I can kind of lead the discussion in a bit.
We got 10 minutes.
I can ask you some stuff, but
all right.
When Danny's back next show, you can go and more in depth. But just
let me.
Just give your thoughts about Stanley Cup playoffs.
First of all, Ovechkin, you did it. The Washington Capitals are not the Washington Flapitals anymore. The choke artist label is officially off his back. DC got a championship. Thank the Lord for that. Now, excuse me, as you can help out a certain friend over outside. Honestly, though, Ovechkin, it's been a long time, and I mean, it's been a really long time.
You don't really have to know hockey to know that Ovechkin has been a star for a long time.
He's been in the league for 13 years, and he finally got his top.
Finally hasn't had a championship. That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
And
You know, a lot of people don't know the story behind it, but he was a star player in the KHL. He got drafted the walkout year, so he had to sit out a year, so he went to go back over to Russia to play, which is probably the best case for him.
Yeah.
And then the following year, who gets drafted number 1? Sidney Crosby. So immediately, his first game as an NHL professional, he's getting outdone by the kid in Pittsburgh. So he's got that on his back. He's been having to deal with that kid over in Pittsburgh for the longest time. I mean, how many times was it where it was the second round of the playoffs and the Penguins would just slaughter the Capitals? Or they'd take it to Game 7 and then they'd just slap them around. This year, though, they beat the Penguins. I mean, and at that point, you knew it was real. You knew that this was a team that wasn't going to fail. This wasn't a team that was going to be too cocky going into the games.
You feel at this point they're finally going to put the pieces
They
together.
put it all together.
Yeah.
They had a player like Tom Wilson, which half of America hates. The other half thinks he's a dirty player, and I think that he's good. He got 20 goals during the playoffs. He also had some pretty questionable hits, but he was a spark player on that team, and you can't deny that he was good. Nicholas Backstrom, he's a great second scorer for the Washington Capitals. Did a fantastic job. I grilled him a little bit on the Rage from here or there. He pulled it together late in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I got to give him credit for that. Smith Pelly, holy crap, where did you come from? I got to say, you got a new fan in me right here. I mean, Brooks Orpik got beat up like Conor McGregor, except he doesn't get the courtesy of having a ref call off the fight. He got hit in the back of the head with a slap shot and came back into the game. He got something happened to his leg or whatever, where he went into the boards and he couldn't get back to the bench. He needed a trainer to get him to the bench. He's back in 10 minutes. This is hockey, people. And when you do teams or have players that do things like this, and by the way, Brenton Holtby too. You outdid Fleury. He was good. I'm totally going full Canadian now. It's fine. Brenton Holtby, though, was fantastic, stellar. And for a guy that was benched the first 2 games of the playoffs, to go in after and have to fire up his ass and start making saves like Dominic Hasek or Patrick Waugh back in the day. Just amazing stuff coming from Brenton Holtby. And then just the sheer joy at the end. I mean, first of all, watching Vegas lose, I could never get enough of.
It is so crazy that a team in its inaugural season made it all the way to the Cup.
I can tell you why that's a thing. I can tell you exactly why. Because half of these teams are ran by idiots. Or were ran by idiots, and are in the process of trying to clean up from said idiots. My examples, Ottawa Senators. Guys, you were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. What is going on? The Buffalo Sabres, don't get me started. The Toronto Maple Leafs. They're actually in a lot worse place than you think, because Mike Babcock actually flew all the way to Arizona yesterday to go meet with Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
He went to the media and said that they're not on good terms right now. So, oops.
So what you're telling me for me to get next year's gonna be a great year to start getting into the NHL. Everything's just gonna start getting.
Oh no! It gets worse. You have Connor McDavid, probably the best player in hockey. He's got no help. You think LeBron has no help? Connor McDavid, man, he is up the creek without a paddle. The Calgary Flames. I don't know where you're gonna play in 5 years. I'm gonna be brutally honest. Same thing with Ottawa too. I don't know where you're playing either. Also throw in the New York Islanders, who you've just gone through a GM, a head coach, and a president of hockey operations in the span of 2 months, and you haven't played a game in that span? Attaboy. The New York Rangers. You sometimes know what you're doing. Danny's not here so I can run my mouth here.
Danny would be here to defend himself.
Danny, you're not going to like this, but your team is being ran like... I don't even know. You should have traded Lundqvist a long time ago. The New Jersey Devils, you turned it around a little bit. Where's your star? You don't have one. I mean, I could keep going up. The Flyers. This is not 1980 anymore. Stop playing goon hockey. My point is...
Goon hockey?
Vancouver Canucks. You had both Sedins for the longest time, and you haven't made the playoffs since 2013. Or, I'm sorry, 2014. What is going on over there? I mean... this is going on and on.
Yeah.
This is normal in hockey, okay?
Sounds like crazy league.
These teams are ran by morons, okay? At least in the NBA, there's a reason behind all of this. There's no reason in hockey. It's just pure idiocracy from half of the league. I mean, I could keep going, too. I mean, we haven't even touched the Dallas Stars, which I don't even know what sport you're playing right now. The Florida Panthers, when are you moving? Arizona, same question.
I know barely anything about hockey, but I do know that the Florida Panthers just need to stop and give up where they are right now.
Carolina Hurricanes, when are you moving to Hartford? I miss the Whalers. So, to answer your question, Robbie, that is why Vegas can be so good right now. Is because it really doesn't take
There's
much.
just so much incompetence within the entire league.
Half of Montreal. You're not getting a free pass out of this one. You have Carey Price on your team. Probably the best goalie in all of the NHL. You can't score. You can't score. Max Pacioretty is your best scorer, and he scored like 17 goals
Now,
last
I have a
season.
question for you. Was there any point during the playoffs did you think that Vegas was going to win the whole thing?
No.
Or that it was possible?
Because I think Vegas actually had the toughest road out of all of them.
You think so? Okay.
The Kings, listen, you never know what you're going to get out of them, but that's a veteran team that's won cups.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. The Sharks, they reloaded. I mean, they have Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Thornton getting hurt was unexpected, but other than that, I mean, you had a lot of good players. I mean, you got so many good players on that Sharks team. Then Winnipeg was the most complete team in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down.
I used Winnipeg as my answer to who I think is going to win the cup.
You did.
Because I was just looking up scores and stuff every day. I'm like, oh, this Winnipeg team is just like blowing people.
Hey, Santana. But I guess that to wrap this whole thing with a nice bow on top, congratulations, Ovi. Vegas, ha. And
I'm glad that they didn't win their inaugural season because
Oh.
that just makes the NHL look like a joke when the expansion team wins in the
Oh.
first year.
the fact they were in the final.
It's a cool story to say, oh, the expansion team came out of nowhere in the first year and won. But like, I think that's actually worse for the NHL if the expansion team wins.
They're already in a joke. I think the fact that
Yeah.
Vegas made it to the second round just
Yeah.
proved it was a joke.
They really did.
And then anything more was just like icing
Yeah.
on the cake.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm lost for words. I want the
They
Sabres.
really-
I want the Sabres to have an expansion draft. That's where I'm at. Right. Honestly, though, just restarting your team is good enough than half of the league right now.
It's crazy. That's insane.
As we have a few minutes left, Robbie, Triple Crown. Is it happening tomorrow?
No. Triple Crown's not happening.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna root against it because the last Triple Crown was actually my dad's wedding. So,
Oh, yeah?
So
No, the last time it happened was really cool. And I'm like, I don't want it to just keep happening.
Yeah.
So
I'll never forget.
give it like another 15 years and I'll root for Triple Crown again.
The
want
novelty was fun.
I want it to be rare. Like I don't want it to just keep happening because
There was a time that it didn't happen for like 30 years, and then when
Yeah.
it happened, like that was when it happened at my
Yeah.
dad's wedding, and I thought it was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's not as cool if it keeps happening. And like I guess that's just like a hipster sports approach of like, oh, I don't want this to happen as much because it's not as cool. But
There's some things that, like, for example,
it does lose its novelty a bit if it keeps happening. So like, I'm gonna root against it.
it's like the NHL with these outdoor games. It was fun when you did one a year. It turned not fun when you had the Blackhawks in an outdoor game every freaking year, or the Penguins every other year.
Yeah.
No, I agree. There's certain things that you can't do it so often or whatever, and I mean,
Yeah, I think the Triple Crown's more special if it just doesn't happen as much. And it's such a crazy thing to win all three of the major races, to where like if that just keeps happening, then like it's just not as special. Like it should be a rare thing
yeah.
for it to be touted as the Triple Crown. Like if you're gonna win the Triple Crown, it's got to be like something that happens only so often. And if it happens as continuously as it's been, then
It just loses its value. I agree with that.
yeah, I don't think it has the same value to it. I don't think it has the same excitement to it anymore if it keeps happening at the same rate. So
NBA Finals tonight. You're going sweep.
That's tough. The Cavs showed a lot of life in the last game, but Kevin Durant shut them down. I'm gonna go with the sweep. Unfortunately, it sucks that it's got to be that way, because I'm not a fan of the fact that the Golden State Warriors have this much talent on the one team, and that the NBA can't employ some kind of a hard cap. But it's I think it's gonna be a sweep. The Cavs would need the same thing to happen again, where two of the Warriors superstars are having bad nights, and then they would also need to catch a break late in the game. I think it's gonna be the sweep.
Warriors by 25 tonight.
You're thinking LeBron's gonna be that uninvolved that they're just gonna get destroyed.
Yep. I'm calling for the curtain call tonight, boys.
Blowout. Okay.
I'm going to blow out.
I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be within. I think it's gonna be within 6.
Dagger. Steph Curry's gonna drop 40 tonight. He was horrible last game. He's gonna drop.
Well, that's because
it
they
tonight.
actually played defense on Steph Curry. You play defense on Steph Curry, you can't do jack.
Well, then they're gonna move it over to KD, and look who's gonna be open.
Hey, exactly.
You can't win with this Warriors team. You don't have enough firepower to deal with this.
No, the Cavs don't. If it was the healthy Celtics team that had Hayward and Kyrie and stuff all healthy, I think they could have given them a run.
That would have been real basketball.
I think that would have been a crazy series.
That would have been
injuries
real
prevented that from happening.
basketball.
But I think it's gonna be a sweep, unfortunately.
Yeah. Although mine is going to be a little more fun, because then we get the whole LeBron circus in the fourth quarter. That would be beautiful. Especially, and small tangent here, especially since the Cavs won a championship, I've kind of had an alienistic attitude towards Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because they've won a championship and Buffalo hasn't. So to watch the Golden State Warriors celebrate on your floor when Golden State, and you know LeBron's not coming back, that would be like the coffin going right into the... You're done.
Bye, Cleveland.
See you, Cleveland.
You get one championship, and then
You had your fun. Then you were running your mouth. And I know you were running your mouth because when I was in Cleveland, you were running your mouth at me. And so I'm going to enjoy this a little extra tonight. Go Warriors, baby. Super team.
I've never cared for the Cavs. I've been a LeBron guy. I like LeBron, but I've never been enough of a fan of him to be a fan of the team he's on. So I don't care if the city of Cleveland just burns down because LeBron ends up leaving. So
Well, they did it once already. They can do it again. They have a little extra left in the garage.
If they burn his jersey this time for leaving, grow up. He got you a championship. He did not need to come back to Cleveland. Especially
and the fact that he had to go to Miami to do it and then come back and then tell you the attitude to have shows extreme worries on your team.
Especially now it's looking like he probably should have went somewhere other than Cleveland after Miami.
Yeah.
He
should have stayed in Miami.
For I won a bunch of championships standpoint. He did the right thing, came back to Cleveland. You burned his jerseys this time. Sorry, you're stupid.
Okay, not for nothing too, but Hassan Whiteside turning into a pretty solid NBA player.
Yeah.
There's some sustainability in that franchise you left, LeBron.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this as a Heat fan. I'm saying this as a business decision. You could have stayed a little longer.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade would have stayed.
D-Wade.
He wouldn't have gone to Chicago if, LeBron didn't.
Yeah, when LeBron left, there wasn't much of a team left. So
yeah, I mean, it just made sense for Wade. But then he came back because...
That's what's going to happen with the Cavs. LeBron's going to leave, and the Cavs are going to be a gutter team.
And you're going to be in the gutter for a long time. And I'm going to salivate every second of it. And then your football team is going to lose. And your baseball team is going to lose. Man, I
think the Indians are overhyped anyway.
I'm still bitter about the 2 times they beat the Blue Jays. I'm still extreme. And then they took Edwin, too. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they took Edwin, and I'm still not happy about that one.
Yeah, no.
I don't.
That was highway robbery.
I'm so happy we did not have to. We found enough to talk about that wasn't the Blue Jays because they have just been so depressing that for me to even think about. So,
Overtime alert.
Yeah, no.
No, he's not getting.
I'm not doing that tonight.
Because you do that, then I'm going to get into the Mets, and then you don't want to get into that.
The Mets are a completely different shit show.
Mets are a dumpster fire. It is always burning, and the world is turning. All right, we're signing off. We went into single overtime today. It looked like, but thank you so much for listening today. Hopefully, we have Danny back next time. We'll try to find a better time to fit Danny in there too. Although this is on Danny. Danny, this is all on you. You okayed this.
Next time, we might be able to start getting it into podcast form too. So that'll be on SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Apple. everything.
All your traditional
So,
podcasts.
You'll be able to watch the video, and we'll also be able to get this in podcast form as well. So that'll. We're starting to get our stuff together here.
Yeah, we're gonna make it very easy for you to watch the Rage because
or listen or just whatever to get it. So.
Because look at this. This is all my SBI worries. All gone. So we're gonna make it easy for you. Well, we got Facebook Live. We always love you. Periscope. We like you too. We're gonna be moving over to some stuff over to YouTube too. So we'll have that avenue as well. So you'll have plenty of ways to watch and listen to the Rage. And then we'll also have Danny. And we're going to get more guests coming in, too, since we don't have to deal with the whole circus or anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever you got to do on these things. I don't know what you got to do on these things. Again, I'm a Gen Xer stuck in a millennial body, so whatever, you're going to get what you get out of this. Do the liking and stuff. The Insta snapping.
Do the sharing and the social stuff that I don't care about.
The tweet chats and stuff like that. But no, and if you got ideas for programming, we're always open to ideas too. We want to make this for you, because this is for you. But anyway.
If there's a sport you think we should cover more, go ahead.
We can talk about anything now. We don't have UB on our backs anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about UB if you want to talk about UB.
Yeah, but like we're gonna do a little less UB. We might do like a separate UB thing when UB sports are in session. I don't know, but like we'll play it by ear. Like
see if we can get our credentials back.
Yeah, maybe. If I'm even still in Buffalo, then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That might be Danny territory.
Yeah, maybe. But yep. Sounds good.
Sounds great. Well, that's Robbie Johnson. He'll be coming on the Rage. We'll try to get guests coming on. This is Hunter. Of course, you know me. Make sure you
started it all.
Yeah, somehow. I had the stupid idea.
Somehow it's still going.
We're still alive. This might kill it, though. But no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today. You didn't listen today. And from all of us here at Hunter Paige Studios.
That's the first time in a long time you could say that there was no way to listen to.
There was no way to listen. You had to watch us.
You had to watch.
Except when the listening thing stopped on SBI and WRUB and all that.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching us today. And we'll be doing this next week sometime. So thank you from Hunter Paige Studios here in the heart of Amherst, New York. Thank you for watching.
It's such a rambunctious place, Amherst, New York.
It's a weird place, man. It's a weird place. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week, or I should say, watch next week. And take care. Have a great weekend, everybody.